Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a dear little girl who was loved by everyone who looked at her. Her mother loved her so much, so there was nothing that she would not have given to the child. Once she gave her a little riding hood of red velvet, which suited her so well that she would never wear anything else. So she was always called Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her mother, having made some cakes, said to her, "Go, my dear, and see how your grandmother is doing. Take her a cake and this little pot of butter. But whatever you do, stay on the path because the forest is very dangerous." Little Red Riding Hood set out immediately to go to her grandmother, who lived in another village. When Little Red Riding Hood entered the woods, a wolf came up to her. He had a very great mind to eat her up, but he dared not because of the woodcutters working nearby in the forest. Red Riding Hood did not know what a wicked creature he was and was not at all afraid of him.
"Good day, Little Red Riding Hood,"
said the wolf.
"And where are you going?"
"Hello," she replied. "I'm going to visit my grandmother, who lives on the other side of the forest. I'm going to take her some cakes," she said. The wolf knew the shortest way to the grandmother's house. He ran as fast as he could, taking the shortest path. As Little Red Riding Hood was going through the wood, she saw how the ground was covered with beautiful flowers. She thought, "If I take a bouquet to grandmother, she'll be very pleased." And she ran off into the woods looking for flowers. Each time she picked one, she ran after another one, going further and further into the woods. It was not long before the wolf arrived at the old woman's house. He knocked at the door. Tap, tap. "Who's there?"
"Your grandchild, Little Red Riding Hood,"
said the wolf in a little girl's voice. The good grandmother, who was in bed because of some illness, cried out, "Oh, come in, my dear. Open the door. It's not locked." The wolf opened the door and hurried inside. He went straight to the grandmother's bed and ate her up. Then he took her clothes, put them on, and put her cap on his head. He got into her bed and pulled the curtain shut, expecting Little Red Riding Hood, who came sometime afterwards and knocked at the door. Tap, tap.
"Who's there?"
asked the wolf, imitating an old lady's voice. "It's Little Red Riding Hood. I brought you some cakes and a little pot of butter that Mother made this morning."
"Come in, my dear. Open the door. It's not locked,"
said the wolf, and Little Red Riding Hood went in. Grandmother was lying there with her cap pulled down over her face and looking very strange. "Oh, Grandmother, what big ears you have!"
"All the better to hear you with."
"Oh, Grandmother, what big eyes you have!"
"All the better to see you with."
"Oh, Grandmother, what big hands you have!"
"All the better to grab you with."
"Oh, Grandmother, what a horribly big mouth you have!"
"All the better to eat you with."
And with that, he jumped out of bed, jumped on top of poor Little Red Riding Hood, and ate her up. As soon as the wolf had finished this tasty bite, he climbed back into bed, fell asleep, and began to snore very loudly. A huntsman was just passing by. He thought it strange that the old woman was snoring so loudly, so he decided to take a look. He stepped inside, and in the bed, there lay the wolf.
"He has eaten the grandmother, but perhaps she can still be saved. I won't shoot him,"
thought the huntsman, a pair of scissors, and cut open his belly. He had only cut a few strokes when he saw the red cap shining through. He cut a little more, and the little girl jumped out and cried, "Oh, I was so frightened. It was so dark inside the wolf's body." And then the grandmother came out alive as well. The three of them were happy. The huntsman took the wolf's pelt. The grandmother ate the cake and a little pot of butter that Little Red Riding Hood had brought. And the little girl thought to herself, as long as I live, I'll never leave the path and run off into the woods by myself if Mother tells me not to. Little Red Riding Hood. Welcome to Kids Academy. Welcome to Kids Academy.
Little Red Riding Hood. In the story, Little Red Riding Hood, the narrator read the words in the book in order from left to right. In this lesson, you are going to learn about reading words in the correct order. If you don't read words in order, they won't make any sense. We always start reading at the top of a page. Then, we read from left to right. On this page, we would read the word once first. Let's read this page together in order. Once upon a time, there was a dear little girl who lived near a wood. We started at the top of the page and read the words from left to right. If your story has more than one page, you always read the left page first. Let's practice reading these pages together. Which word should we start with? The word once. Excellent. Remember, when we read words, we read from left to right. We read from the top of the page to the bottom of the page. Then we go to the next page. Let's read together. Once upon a time, there was a dear little girl who lived near a wood. Her mother loved her very much. One day, the mother gave her a little riding hood of red velvet. It was so nice that the girl wore it every day. So she was always called Little Red Riding Hood. Well done! Now, you can practice reading words in order on your own. Bye!
Let's start learning. Print a worksheet if you need it. Or way. Use your finger or stylus to complete the worksheet on your device. Circle the arrow that shows the direction that you read. She tried Papa Bear's bowl. It was too hot. That's really great. Check the box for the page that you read first. She tried Mama Bear's bowl. It was too cold. Then she tried Baby Bear's bowl. It was just right. Well done! Let's start learning.